Hi, this is J.D. Fagelson, the creator of Dark Night of the Scarecrow, and you're listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben, the screen whisperer Harley.
That's right. Or Screaming Jay Harley.
Yeah. How the hell you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. I'm actually starting to feel more human.
Oh.
I'm coming back, from the zombie-like state. You know how much I like zombies.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
So.
Your favorites.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just shy of eating brains, I think, Timo.
Okay.
So, yes, Timo, I'm back.
All right.
I'm back, and I won't eat your brain.
Oh, that's good. I got a lot of it, so you don't want to. It'd be more than one sitting. I can tell you.
Be a lot, lots of brains.
Right. So as we're sitting here, Mr. Ben Harley, now listen to this. So we had in the space-time continuum, we had Halloween last week. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I was telling you, Chance, my grade schooler guy. All right.
Yeah.
So Halloween was
Jason
Wednesday.
Voorhees.
Yeah. Well, Halloween was Wednesday.
Yeah.
He was Jason. I sent you a picture of it. Pretty good. Not too bad. I thought I did all right job of getting that going. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he had Thursday and Friday off school. What?
Jeez.
It's tough out there, Harley. It's tough.
Man, I'm telling you, these kids nowadays, they really got it tough.
Ah, geez. So now it's Tuesday, election day, and he's out of school again.
Why?
I don't know. I might be for election day.
Something Trump did.
Yeah, thanks, Trump. He's down there. There's a little army of Trump supporters just growing right now because they're off school.
Yeah,
but,
maybe he is. Maybe it's smarter than I think he is.
Might be. Yeah. And I don't know. I think it might be a polling place. The school is or something. I don't really know why exactly. But they don't want to mix adults because all of us are racist and we are all we're molesters and things, so we can't have the adults mixing with the kids.
No, just
unless,
drop them off, pick them up,
right? Unless they're teachers, because teachers are perfect and make no mistakes. So
that's right.
Yeah. So but he's up again. He's downstairs right now, Mr. Ben Harley, watching Friday the 13th Part 2.
That's the best one.
I'm telling you right now, he picked it. I said, you want the first one or do you want the second one? He goes, second one. So he's downstairs right now getting spooked out by a dude in a bag head. So
good.
Yeah.
I was very upset. I won't go off too much, but they had that Eli Ross history of horror.
Yeah, I watched.
Blah, blah,
yep, I watched some of it. Yeah, I did see the part where Sean Cunningham was like, "Oh, the only mistake I made was the bag over the head." It's like, what?
Yeah, I like that part. I mean, and this is what's funny. And I've said this before. Okay, Timo, I live pretty close to Canada, right?
Oh,
you we talk about hockey a lot.
Yeah.
I happen to be a goaltender. I wore a lot of goalie masks as a kid. But my favorite still is Part 2. I love the baghead, man. As much as I like the goalie mask, I do. But I do but a lot of it's because of Tom the Dreaded Sundown, too, a little bit. And of the influence of that carried over for me into watching Part 2, Friday the 13th. Right. And I think it's just a better movie than most of them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I happen to like the first one a lot, though. I do. I really do.
It's okay. Maybe it's one of those deals where it just doesn't hold up as well for me or whatever. Yeah. It's not. I'm not saying it's horrible. It's just when you know what's going on, you're kind of like, okay. It's like let's get to it. Let's get going on this. And it's I don't know. And I don't want to besmirch it. It's just it doesn't have the impact that Halloween did. Let's put it that way.
No.
I don't think it's light years above the other films where it deserved to spawn all sequels. I think its success is what was deserving of all the sequels. And I agree with that, by the way. But I'm just saying, Halloween, if it would have made half the money, it would have deserved a franchise. Make 10 bad movies off of it. You're still about even with how good that first one is, But I don't know.
Well, I think too at the ending of Friday the 13th really helped it a lot too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
A lot.
Yeah.
I liked the twist though. I do. I really enjoyed the twist of the mother. It threw me as well as a kid. It threw me. It threw me a little wonky, and I thought it was cool. But I just for me though, I'm like, how did she beat up all these guys? But. I'm like, she's badass, man.
Yeah,
that girl's
tough old dame. Tough old dame. Yeah.
But I think the canoe, the ending with Jason coming out of the water, the red herring thing was a big exclamation point for that film too, which really sold it to me a little bit more. But then I said again, I liked part 2. Because I thought part 2 was cool how it led from. Adrian King being killed at the beginning of part 2 was good. I liked it, so
it was more of I tell you, at the end of Friday the 13th made it a horror movie, and it made it a little more mystical. And it's still to this day what fascinates me about part 2. And you can't ever go back and reclaim this because the cat's out of the bag. But you didn't know who the hell is killing everybody,
right?
I mean, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I mean, you just didn't know Jason was dead. You didn't really get it out, but then you realize, well, maybe he wasn't dead. He did jump out of the water. And it was almost like fudged around. It was like, well, this kind of happened because we live in movie land. Anything could happen, or whatever.
And you'll like it.
Yeah. But it is interesting how it got a little better before it got worse, which is not that doesn't happen very often in any kind of film franchise.
No,
but anyway, well, he's down there right now watching the bag over the head,
old bag head. I like that one.
I do too. I think it's the best one. Best one by far. So, some other stuff watched, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm going to jump right into this here.
All right.
A little bit of stuff. I'm going to try to run through it quick. How about that?
Okay.
From 2016, believe it or not.
But yeah,
I kept seeing good reviews, user reviews. Now, do I trust those? A little bit more than some other reviews.
Yeah, right.
There's a movie called Hell House LLC that's on.
Okay.
And
I didn't see that one.
It's a haunted house.
Okay.
So they're making what people today. Oh man, I got a soapbox. Let me get up on it real quick. Hold on.
Okay. Real quick. Yeah.
All right. So. When did horror films? When has it been okay to call them horrors? When is a haunted house you go to and go through? When has it been okay to call it a haunt? Horror needs to have something after it. A horror what?
Yeah,
it's like I watch a lot of horrors. What? That's the way people talk today. So
yeah.
I'm still calling them haunted houses, not just haunts. Okay.
It seems like that came from the people that work at the haunted house. You know what I mean? And then now others have taken it.
Right. But just remember, Squatch came from people looking for Sasquatch. So I'm not playing along. So I'm going to say it is a haunted house. So they're making a haunted house and it's haunted. Yeah, for real.
Nice.
It's a found footage. It starts off like, remember that movie Savage Land that we watched, which was more like the fake documentary that was really like compelling. It was a really good, well put together thing. Well, it starts off kind of like that, actually. So it's kind of neat, but then it just devolves into nauseating, shaky shit.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, though. It does have some good moments, but I'm going to give the found footage genre, I guess, or subgenre, a little bit of an olive branch. Most of them do have some good moments.
Yeah.
Just by the way they're made, in that cinema verite kind of thing, you kind of do feel like a little bit you're there. So when you see something, like when they have a quick shot of something because the camera's shaking around, it's always going to be effective,
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
But, I don't want to sit there for 90 minutes to be dazzled for 10 seconds. It's just,
right.
I've seen a lot worse. Again, it's called Hell House LLC. If you like the found footage thing, I think you'd really like this. If you don't, it's not the worst thing you've seen, but it's going to remind you what you don't like about them. Because if you didn't have the shaky camera stuff, it might be a little bit better, actually. But it just seems exaggerated. They don't need to be shaking it around that much. It's like, why are you filming this anyway? Which is the question in any of these movies. So, but,
right.
Moving on. From 1944, we continued our Universal freak out.
Nice. That a boy.
We watched House of Frankenstein, which was the next in our little our lineage here. We got Chaney doing the Wolfman.
Yeah.
We got Karloff playing the mad scientist this time. So he technically, now this is funny because of course, given recent history, especially Angio and I have been watching these movies, keeping an ear out for the names, how things are being referred to and everything. So we did watch House of Frankenstein.
There is
There is no Frankenstein in the film, but they are in his house. They are in his beat up old place that got ramshackled. That actually got flooded out.
Really?
Yeah. So there is a house of Frankenstein. It is true. And this is the first one where Glenn Strange was the monster.
Oh, okay.
Glenn Strange. So that's pretty good. We have both Lionel Atwill and George Zucco in this turkey. Right now, Lionel Atwill decided he was the Burgermeister this time.
Okay.
Yeah. Good time watching that. But yeah, we did pay attention the whole time. And the Frankenstein monster was referred to as the monster and bloody. So all you got to do is watch and listen. It's right there for you. They're not hiding it from you. You're just making shit up, people. Quit rationalizing stuff.
Yeah.
Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see here. Sir. From 1977. We watch the Synapse 4K restoration of Suspiria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good.
What do you think?
It's really good. It's really noticeable in the beginning, especially like how everything is really cleaned up and stuff.
Yeah.
The audio, because that audio is just unrelenting. Like the crazy music and stuff in it is unrelenting, and the music is really well like spaced out. If you had like surround or a good sound bar with a fake surround on it, really spaced out well, and it's very easy to understand and hear, which is nice. Most audio mixes these days, they drop all the mids out. You can't understand a word am I saying. It's all explosions and bass and stuff. So it was good. It was really good.
Well, I'm gonna have to admit something to you though, Timo. I meant to mention this. Yeah. Now, there's only been a few times in my life I've actually had to turn a movie off. Once when I was a kid watching The Exorcist, when I was home alone watching it when I was real young. I was like, I'm going to have to turn this off.
Okay.
And then, it's been a couple here at the shop. But the other day, Tim, I tried to watch Suspiria. And I like it. And I brought my Blu-ray down and stuff. But it was about, say about 7:00 in the morning.
Okay, yeah.
And I tried to put it in and watch it, and it was just too edgy. I was on edge already. I had stuff to do. I'm like, I can't.
No.
And a lot of it was the audio too. I'm like, oh God. So I got about 15 minutes in. I'm like, I gotta change it to something a little bit more.
It can be unnerving. Yeah,
I'm gonna take it upstairs and watch it on my 50-inch. But I was like, no, I can't do this.
Right. I got you. I don't blame you.
But like you said, it's unnerving. Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, I'm already unnerved here at the shop. I'm like, I gotta turn.
It's one of the best uses of audio in a horror film.
Oh my God!
Because it's part of the nightmare. Yeah. The movie's a little nightmare. It doesn't make a lick of sense half the time.
No, it doesn't. No, go with it.
But
just go with it.
Yeah, just go with it. I don't know who the hairy arm guy was. It doesn't matter. They never show. Who's like? Let's get away with the movie without revealing a damn thing. Basically,
exactly.
Except that we know there's a witch lurking about somewhere, but
somewhere.
Yeah. So anyway, so good times.
Dario's got some issues with women.
The ones he loves the most, usually.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So Dario, you jerky. So
Dario, why are you so mean to the women?
We had fun. We had fun looking at that. Let's see. Moving on real quick, Mr. Ben Harley. I did tell you about this movie. Now we're gonna get out of the horror movie thing real quickly.
Okay.
But from 2016, did watch the movie Elvis and Nixon.
Yes, sir.
With, Michael Shannon, who was like the Frankenstein monster of Elvis guys. I mean, talk about a guy who does not look like Elvis, does not have his looks or anything. On the other hand, I have to admit that Kevin Spacey playing Nixon doesn't exactly look like Richard Nixon either.
No.
But both these guys do a great job. They do a great job.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. That was kind of, because I watched it as well.
Okay.
You mentioned it, so I thought, that'll be fun to. Yeah. And I got into it and watched about half. I thought, I got to finish this up, and but yeah, you're right. That threw me for a little bit because it was hard looking at them as not
Right. They look so much different than the characters they're playing. Not unlike Anthony Hopkins playing Nixon to begin with in that movie.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I mean, other than that, I really thought this was kind of a fun movie.
Yeah.
I really do. It humanizes both Nixon and Elvis a lot. A lot.
Yes, the 1970s Elvis and Nixon.
Yeah, in a good way too, And I've always, I mean, how do you feel bad for a guy who had as much fame and fortune as Elvis, but then again, it's somewhat, I think, of a curse a little bit too, And but I liked with him just going out on the street, like the everyday stuff, because I think that threw people off too, because it just didn't happen.
Right. Oh yeah. It was very good, and I agree. I thought
everybody was good in it as far as the actors and stuff too.
Right. And I really, honestly, the voicing of both Michael Shannon and especially Kevin Spacey kind of drew you in and made you think of it.
Yep.
I did think it was they were honest though. I mean, it wasn't like they were. I wish they were more honest with people of all kinds of political persuasions like that.
Exactly.
But they were pretty honest with these guys. And so they made them wacky and likable, but they did have some jabs, like when Nixon says, well, you got to bend the rules every now and then. Little jokes like that I thought actually worked pretty good, and stuff. And it probably showed it for what it was, or whatever.
Great Big Up, though, to Elvis and Nixon.
Yeah, it was good.
It a great paper. It was fun.
Was I correct though when I told you it's not really a laugh out loud comedy? The end of it when they're actually meeting is a little funny. It's humorous. It's amusing.
You don't really know. It's like Elvis. I think he is screwing with them a little bit through some of it. But he seemed like to have that kind of a sense of humor, which is kind of fun. And I liked how they portrayed his sense of humor. It reminded me a little bit of just your buddy. You know what I mean? Like just some.
Well, it was a good balance because I do believe Elvis was a little whack by the end. I mean, how can you not be with all that? And I do believe he did do those gestures and stuff, and I do believe he meant them. But at the same time, realized that he was lost. I do. I would totally agree with that. So, but. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, it was interesting, So, but again, two movies here, Mr. Ben Harley, I want to talk to you about. That's something that one we've been talking about a little bit. But first up, I'm going to go with. I don't have the year written down, but I do believe it was in this last year. Avengers: Infinity War.
Okay, have I seen that one? No, I don't think
that's
so.
The one with what's his name? The Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos.
The one with Thanos in it. Look, the Avengers movies have become the Lord of the Rings of superhero films. They're way too self-righteous, busy, complex. The CG battles are boring because they're such an assault on the senses. You shut them down and it's boring.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the Marvel films, and I have liked some of the ones that you wouldn't expect, like a couple of Thor movies and stuff, because I like the self-aware humor. Remember, Thor always had a bit of that. The character always was a bit of a beer-guzzling, self-aware anti-hero hero, kind of in a way.
Yeah.
But I just feel like they're trying to lean on it too much now. All the characters stop in an important situation, go, what? Well, you do that, right? I mean, that's like kind of your thing. That's like your superpower, right? I mean, and they totally like kind of self-aware break out of what they're doing. And it's getting to be uncomfortable because like you wait for it now. I just feel like they're trying to lean on too hard to lighten these depressing and overblown films. These are not superhero. I mean, and I'm going to go DC as well. I mean, both these movie franchises, the DC and Marvel, are going into this
leave DC alone.
Well, I'm saying they're going into this dark place.
I'm messing with you.
Well, and it's what I don't like about movies these days. They're going to this dark, self-righteous, self-important place. They forgot to entertain people and remind people they're also eating popcorn.
Right.
And it's like, and also here's the thing, real quick, one of the main things too, that self-aware humor and the getting into the plot and stuff, it works a lot better when there isn't 20 to 30 characters to keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Avengers, there's like 20 or 30. I mean, I'm just like, and they each got like a minute of screen time, and they're jarring because they're all kind of famous people.
Yeah,
and it's just like I don't know. And the movie, it just ends like they're almost like the old Saturday serials, like they would see in the movie houses back in the 40s or something.
Just ends abruptly.
Well, it just ends and. It ends with Thanos sitting looking at the sunset grinning. And it's like, oh, I mean, I'm not into it. Let me just put it this way. It's you're trying to make things too important. These are fucking superheroes with spandex, folks. I mean, they're goofy characters. Let's keep them that way. I mean, I don't mind making them like when they went to like the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, which bothered me because there was no supervillain. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they always wanted a supervillain to give him some kind of trouble or heat or make the story more interesting.
Yeah.
But you wanted to see the supervillains in the films brought to life as much as the heroes. So I get all that, but it's too much, Mr. Ben Harley. It's just it's an assault on the senses.
You overloaded now? Yeah.
Well, and I sort of understood the story, but then where it ended, I'm like, you just cliffhangered that so much, and I just sat here for 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. That's what bothers me. It really bothers me. I'm like, I don't know. I'm a little tapped out on these. But you know what? I've had a problem with the Avengers movies. I've never really liked them that much. They're too busy.
Okay.
They're too busy.
They are.
First one was okay. First one was okay.
A lot of that stuff is. It's just for me. I can't. I don't know. I do want to watch that one. I will have to catch up. I wanted to see Venom in the theater, but I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to be disappointed in that one too. So I don't know, Timo.
Well, you can rent Infinity War and see what you think, but I think it's just like a chapter in a book almost. It doesn't really give you a beginning or an end, and it is really way too much that self-aware humor stuff. It takes you out of it constantly. It's like, oh my God, and I do like it. Trust me, it's just not right in a really dark movie.
No, because it's that whole, it's just the wisecracking New York thing for me, I guess. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's overdone with the Spider-Man, and I can't do it. I really can't.
Yeah.
For me, and I want to see, me too. I want to see the operatic type stuff, because I've already gotten all the other stuff before, for the most part. But then, like you're saying, though, it's jarring when they are doing stuff like that. Then they throw in these little just zingers that I don't know. Well, give me one or the other. I guess is what I want. I don't know.
When you have Vision, Thor, Loki, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Hulk, all in a Vision. I mean, all these in the same movie.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. And they're all doing the same humor because in their separate film franchises, it works. Yeah. When you have one hero who's like that or something, it works. But when you get them all together, it's like they all went to grade school together and have the same inside jokes. It's kind of rough. I mean, anyway, I did not like it. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but the reaction that people had when that film came out, I'm like, are you serious? I saw one person on social media say that they were shaking in their seat. They could barely get up and leave. And this would be someone that you and I would. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
this is the thing, Timo. Mm-hmm. This is what, because they've been told that these are such great movies and you have to love these, and they're so quirky, and these characters are just like, they're like my friends. No, I mean, I don't care. This is the thing. And I love superheroes. It's like some of my oldest thing. You got me, Godzilla, superheroes, and maybe sharks for me. That's it. I was a kid when, but
big aquatic beasts.
Yes. Yes. But this stuff is getting to the point, and this is why I get so upset, buddy. And I'll try to keep this short. But like the whole thing with the DC Marvel, which I don't care, because that's why I'm upset. I don't care. I love all superheroes. Right. I don't care. They're superheroes to me. They're all great. It's all good. Okay.
Right.
Who came first, the chicken or the egg, Timo? I don't care. It's all good to me anymore. All right. So, but the problem is these people get so involved in these movies, and then they post on there. Yeah, you go look, Timo, go look at Rotten Tomatoes, whatever. And I'm sure Infinity Wars has a 90% greatness or whatever. And then you go look at like Batman versus Superman, and it's got like a 65%. You're going to tell me, or I'll pick any of the Marvel ones, and I'll put it up against some of the worst DC ones. And you're going to tell me that's a better movie than this one? It's not.
I think they're interchangeable. I don't think
for the most part they are. Yeah. But as far as like the way they're written, and you know me, Tim, I'm more of a visual person and stuff, but I can sit down and go, watch this and go, this movie is so much more. It's a tighter film. Mm-hmm. It explains more, and I get much more of a feeling out of this film than when I go and watch a Marvel. I don't get no feeling out of those. I just don't. Mm-hmm. And it's not because I'm a DC guy. I want to see Submariner. I've watched him. I'm watching Iron Fist right now. Mm-hmm. I'm watching Iron Fist. Who watches Iron Fist?
Right.
I'm watching Iron Fist, and it's kick ass. No pun intended. I'm 2 episodes in. I think it's great. He's not even in the suit yet. So I don't know. Let me get off of my soapbox. Let me put it way away. Yeah. Well, the superhero soapbox for me has got to go. It's got to get smashed.
Right.
I'm done too.
They're slightly different, like the DC and Marvel movies, but I don't think one's necessarily that much better than the other.
I think they're better films. I do, buddy. I'm not trying to be like that.
No, I think that I like the humor of the Marvel. But then again, I don't like it when it's all mashed up together like that, where I can't keep straight what's going on. With the DC stuff, there's not as much of that, but when they do it, then it makes me groan because it's like, oh, you're just imitating Marvel. And then they're a little. They're also dark and self-important, and I'm going across the board with the Marvel and DC movies. Like, you guys are kind of taking away the childlike fun. Well, next up, actually, there's 2 more, Harley, that I wanted to mention real quick. So, from 1985.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
nice.
Now we watch, and I want you to hear this because this is something that I've started now. Okay, now listen real close. Hear this. Uh-oh. What's that sound like?
A helicopter?
No.
Bat flapping?
Close.
Yeah.
That is my little Don King American flag.
Nice.
Because I pulled it out so me and Angel could watch Rambo First Blood 2. Every time any kind of jingoistic, any kind of like Muscles Malone blows away 50 brown people, the flag went like I had Angie laughing for about an hour straight because every time Stallone had this little romantic scene and I went slow.
Yeah.
Like that, it's like, so I got my American flag out now. So when you hear that, you know what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing. So we did have fun. We did have fun watching it. And I'm having fun with my little American flag. As a matter of fact, I think I pulled it out during one of our official films this week, and it was waving around. That was fun. First Blood Part 2. Now here's the other one, Mr. Ben Harley. Since we talked about this film,
yes,
I think a week or 2 ago, I did pull it out and watch it. From 2009, I did watch the remake of The Wolfman. That's what we were talking about. I hadn't seen it since the first time it came out.
To make me cry, aren't you?
And I remember you asking, "Would you like it more?" It was like, and I'm sitting there and I watched it, and I'm gonna add to what was there. I would like it more if Anthony Hopkins wasn't in that fucking movie.
Okay, I can do it.
But I will say one thing: I do not like the werewolf. I think he looks horrible. No.
It's not a very good looking werewolf. It's not one that I would want to have to display as a werewolf. You know what I mean? As far my thing. That's my thing,
And here's the thing. When we watched American Werewolf in London and The Howling and stuff, these were dark, scary movies, but they were enjoyable and entertaining and fun.
Yeah.
Once again, this movie goes at about the pace of a snail taking a nap. And
it's very sleepy and dreamy.
It's again, dark. Here's the thing. It's dark and stuff. Something has happened with technology and films that I hate. You don't have to use lighting anymore.
Right.
Or bright lights anymore because of video and everything. And it's just dark. It's just too much drab. It's depressing. It's very brown. I mean, brown by just drab, just dark.
Yeah.
And I got nothing out of this movie at all. I mean, would I like it more? Yes. Does that mean I would like it? No.
Sure.
No, I would not like it because it's just an awful film. And I tried real hard. I don't like the changes in the script. I hate Anthony Hopkins in it. And he's ruined 2 characters I love in old Universal horror films. Van Helsing, he ruined.
Yeah.
And now he ruined Talbot's dad, which I always like Claude Rains in that. Yeah. And I hate the whole dynamic in that movie. I hate it. I can't stand it. And had they gotten John Lithgow or someone to play that character and play him as a supporting father, you know what, too? There's no Bella. There's no Bella because it's his dad. It's the damn werewolf. And it's like, so you took another character out and you took all the things that were cool about the first one. He took them out and then you tried to make the things that weren't good in the first one better. What? 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 What are you trying to do a C average? What the hell is going on? You know, horrible. Right. I did not like it. But yes, I can't argue that I would hate it less. How about that? Or like it more if Anthony Hopkins' character was the supporting dad and the place wasn't a ramshacked old decrepit castle. It was a nice joint like the place was in the original Universal film. The original Universal film had plenty of atmosphere. And that movie would have had plenty of atmosphere given the crap way they dark light everything now, make everything depressing looking with a nice joint, with a nice place and a supportive father, you know, and stuff. Yeah. And I just think the whole thing with the way they changed a woman's role, you know,
in his brother's fiance.
Yes. And all the weird incestual nepotism and everything. It's like, no, didn't like it. And a matter of fact, you know, I was watching Rick Baker on that Eli Roth show myself, and he was kind of talking about the Wolfman and everything. I'm just like, you know, Rick, you can do a werewolf, awesome, but a wolf man, I don't know if it. No, seen it done better. Yeah. I've seen it done better. So I've got all the respect in the world for Rick Baker and everything, but that movie was probably one of the most disappointing things I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, oh my god. A big budget werewolf movie, you know, a remake of something. I mean, well, you know what? I love The Mummy too, and those remakes were terrible. I can't stand any of those Mummy movies that came out. Yeah, none of them. I didn't even get through the Tom Cruise one.
I haven't watched that one. I didn't really. I was hoping, but I was like, no. I'm going to get disappointed. I know I'm going to get disappointed.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got a half hour in and turned it off. When you invest a half hour into something and turn it off, you know you're just like, you're looking and going, you know what? That other hour and a half ain't worth it.
Yeah.
And I just turned it off. I was never interested in finishing the story because I didn't care about it to begin with. It was just terrible. Just terrible. Oh, but so, well, here, we'll just... If I can't wave a cane, it's going to be an American flag. It is election day, Mr. Ben Harley. It is election day. Yes.
This is true.
That's right. There we go. All right. So what do you got, Mr. Ben Harley? I just wanted to throw that depressing Wolfman crap at you at the end, man. Yeah.
I got a few things for you, buddy.
Go for it.
Because I got one thing I've been saving for.
All right.
Okay. All right, Timo. Yes, I've been, down here with my lovely Blu-ray player that Timo sent me. I got it all set up, all my goodies. And I went through, so I'm going to start slow here. Now, these aren't full-on horror films, but close, some stuff. We talked about this, Timo, a lot of the new stuff that came on Amazon, a lot of Clint Eastwood things came on there. Yeah. So I want to just mention very briefly, I watched Fistful of Dollars.
There you go.
Which I do like. One of my favorite parts in all Clint Eastwood films is in that one. It's when he comes into town and they shoot up his horse. They don't shoot his horse, but they shoot at the ground and the horse and him run. And he kind of jumps off his horse and doesn't even bother with the guys. Then comes back a little bit later and it's like, you need to apologize. They're like, what? Because, they're like, your donkey took off. You should have took off running too. Well, my donkey's pissed. And you need to apologize to him because he's not as forgiving as I am, type thing. And they're like, wait, what? And it's just, I almost want to do a Coach to Kill from it because it's so fun. It's just so fun. So I did enjoy watching Fistful of Dollars, which in return made me watch High Plains Drifter.
There you go.
Because it was during the Halloween-ish season. Now, I know it's a Western, but to me, it's a Western ghost film, kind of.
Yeah.
Now, there's
almost like a metaphysical Western in a way. Yeah, a little different. Yeah.
Now, there's not a lot of horror or, mystical stuff, but there are a lot of dreamy type scenes, like when they're showing the getting whipped or
flashbacks.
The flashbacks, yeah. Those were always like really eerie and stuff. So But I just wanted to mention it because I like that movie so much. And that was one of my cornerstone films, not only for Westerns and horror, but just movies altogether.
Well, I think what makes that real quick, I think what makes that is that the actor being whipped is not Clint Eastwood.
No.
And I think that's what sets it on its like off kilter. You know, maybe he is a ghost. Is this his brother? Because it looks like him. Yeah, but it's not him. And so you're kind of like, huh.
And at the end, too, when the little guy's out there doing the grave.
The
marshal, he says, I never caught your name. He said, or whatever. He said, yeah, you did. And then he took off. And that's when he showed. Because that's freaked me out. Because when I first saw the movie, I didn't see him come in out of the. I just started watching the movie maybe a few minutes in. So I didn't see him come out of the mist, or the the heat.
Yeah.
Whatever, or the desert.
Right.
So when he went out that way, it freaked me out. I was like, wow,
Right.
And I was a kid. And for me, I was into Westerns, but not that much as I was into horror. So it almost made me like Westerns even better. I'm like, wow, they did that in a Western?
Right.
And it was, for me, it was the peanut butter and chocolate, the Reese's peanut butter coming together thing.
Right.
Two of my favorite things. Now, I like peanut butter a little bit more than chocolate, but you mix them together, I'm in. So, it was just for me, every time I watch, movie never gets old to me. I like to watch it every couple years, or I've watched it a lot here recently. And that was a Blu-ray you sent me, so it looks great. Looks really good. We're on to remakes, Timo. We're on to some remakes here.
Oh, no.
All right, so one remake, my friend, which is going to go into something else here that I really need to talk to you about. Okay. All right, first thing. I finished up the Town That Dreaded Sundown remake or reboot or
rewriting,
rerouting. I'm not really sure. And I don't care at this point. I found it to be quite dumb.
Yeah.
Now,
unnecessary.
Yeah, unnecessary, Tim, was probably the best thing for it.
Yeah.
I just didn't find it very I don't know.
It reminded me of and I'm only going off vague memory because I only watched some of these movies once, but it reminded me of the remake of My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
A lot like it, actually. Like, it's kind of saying the first one happened, but here we're going to call it a remake, but it's not a remake. It's a I'm done with the re. Whatever's I'm done. Yeah.
It's somebody redoing the murders of this. So this is basically what it was. It's someone that was redoing the murders of the movie that was based on true. Yeah, it's just, man, it's confusing after a while.
I told you it was like, yeah, I understand, but I don't, and my thing is too, I have a big soft spot in my heart for Town That Dreaded Sundown. That sounds stupid, but no, it's a fine movie. I mean, it's just,
I
don't like the ending's a little frustrating, but that's it.
Yeah. But that movie seriously is one of the top shocking movies of my little horror career especially when I was little. It shocked me.
Right.
It shocked me, and I still can remember the feeling of certain parts of that movie, the way I felt. Now going back and watching it, hey, it is what it is. It's
a Legend of Boggy Creek of slasher films.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I'll take you that. That sounds good.
It's made by the same guy. I love it. So it's like Charles Pierce, but he did it in a documentary kind of style, and it made you kind of just like Boggy Creek.
But it's more scary. It's much, and as much as it has some comedy and stuff in it too, it's scarier, much scarier, I think, than this one. This one didn't have like any, I don't know, whatever. So I've wasted enough time on that, Tim.
Right.
On that.
I agree.
Part 2.
I agree.
All right, Timo. Yeah, I've been saving this one, buddy. All right. On Saturday, I needed to get away from people.
To bury yourself.
You know what? That's not a bad idea because I can't get away. I come down to the shop, and then either the legend shows up, and I was hiding from him. I'm trying to go hide,
right?
Customers, and you can't. I mean, even if I'm jumping from shadow to shadow in this building with the lights off, so no one sees me as they go by looking in the door.
Right.
So, you know what? I thought, well, there's probably only one other place that I could go hide and no one's going to talk to me or something. And that's the movie theater. Uh-huh. So I'd called my daughter, Caitlin, to go see the Halloween, new Halloween movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Caitlin didn't make it. So I went by myself, went by my lonesome self. I got some popcorn and a pop.
There you go.
No candy this time. No candy, just straight up. And I wasn't in the best of mood, so I kept thinking the whole time, I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to go. Yeah. I'm going to hate it. I'm in a bad mood.
Right.
I'm going to turn into Michael Myers. I don't want to go. But I ended up going. And, I don't know, buddy. I can't say I hated it. I really don't even know how to lay it out there to you. I don't want to give away too much. I know you're not going to see it probably till it comes out.
Yeah, I won't see it till it comes out on video. Yeah.
And
I've heard a lot about it, but yeah,
it's I figured it out. I am a Michael Myers guy, right? And I'm also a Batman guy, Tim. But there was movies with Batman that I finally had to go, you know what? This is just not good. Mm-hmm. I know it's Batman's in it, but I don't care. It's not good. Okay. Mm-hmm. I know the same thing with Michael Myers. I'm a Michael Myers guy, but I've seen Michael Myers movies where I'm just like, oh, awful. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So let me start here. First off, I guess the movie's light years ahead of H2O.
Okay.
Which is good.
Right.
Curse of Michael Myers and whatever other Resurrection, Buster Rhymes one.
Right.
It's light years ahead of those. So that's a good thing. That's a plus. Okay.
Right. You would hope that would be the case. Yeah.
It's a better film. It's a better horror film. It's better written. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It just is. Yeah, it's just so.
It's made to be a better film.
Yeah. So I'm as happy with that. Now, I like it better. I liked it better than 4 and 5 a little bit, except for 4 and 5 for me have Loomis in it.
Right.
And you're never going to top some of the stuff because there's scenes in 4 and 5 that Loomis does that are my favorites in horror history.
Right.
And it's because it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know the movies weren't as good.
Mm-hmm.
The ending of part 4 is one of my favorite endings also of any horror film of all time. I love it. Absolutely still to this day. I could just watch the ending of 4 and be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could be. Now, what I will say about 4, it feels like Halloween. Mm-hmm. It does. It feels from the opening credits. It feels like Halloween. That's what I've always liked about the original Halloween. It feels like Halloween. Halloween 2 feels like Halloween. Now this, I can't really say, okay, man, I felt like Halloween, but it does. It's, you know what I mean? It doesn't have the nostalgia for me as the other ones, I guess, maybe, but it has that feel mostly because of the score now by Carpenter. All right. He does a couple of different things in there that were pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I've heard the music was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Myers is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the couple of parts, Tim, I won't say too much about them, but there was a couple parts going in that I was like, I'm going to hate them. One part when they go to the sanitarium, actually the part that I thought I was really going to hate, I kind of enjoyed, and mostly from, and this is going to sound weird because we both had special needs kids, right?
Right.
Now with my daughter Ruby and her autism, she's in a different world sometimes. Mm-hmm. She's in her own little world.
Mm-hmm.
And watching movies, and they have mental patients in there. I'm like, oh, that guy's got autism.
Right,
probably.
Right.
Maybe he's,
Right.
But what was kind of weird, there's the part where they meet with him and they kind of, and all the patients start to get kind of wacky. And I actually kind of liked it because I'm like, it felt like, okay, yeah, you feel the evil and the patients who we don't think are in their right mind. Maybe they are.
Right.
Maybe they feel it. They know it.
Yeah.
They sense it. So she was okay. I'm all right. All right. So the rest of the movie, Timo, I'm not going to give away much, but I will say, as much as they cut out part 2, this is the part 2, I guess, they lean a lot on Halloween 1, 2, and 3.
Huh. Okay.
Now 3, there's a part in it, the part that my daughter said I wasn't going to like. I knew. I was like, oh, there it is. I'm not giving it away, but it's got some influence there. It was influenced by something I'm not going to say, but I think I know what it is. But they do a little nod to part 3 with some of the masks. The kids going through the town trick-or-treat and had the mask on. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a great part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to say they lean a lot on 1 and 2, if not more on 2. And it's funny because it's like it doesn't exist.
Right.
So, okay. All right. I'm okay. They did do some stuff, Timo, with light and shadow, a couple new things that really blew my little mind. There's a part they use with a motion detector. That's awesome. Just absolutely awesome. And I applaud it. It was good, and it made me really enjoy the film. That was one of the highlights for me, you know. So I think in the end, Timo, I think you might like it. It's a good horror film. It's one I will go back and see. I will watch again. Now the ending, I knew I wasn't going to like the ending going in. I just knew it, and that's one of the reasons I didn't want to see it. And I'm not far off. I'm not far off from my feelings. They could have done something at the end that would have made me say, okay. But they didn't. And so I'm going to give this movie probably maybe a C+, B-.
Okay.
All right. It could, if they would have done something at the end, I might have gave it a solid B. But I'm okay. I'm all right with it. I knew what was happening. Good for, but you know what? God bless Jamie Lee. Good for her. Good for women in horror. You know, but you know,
I'm so tired of people thinking horror movies are chauvinistic. It's like the woman always wins. It's a total feminist type of thing, and I'm okay with that. But it's like, stop calling me something I'm not.
Me too. Now I'm going to tell you. Now these people, you might call them chauvinistic, but they're smart. You tell me, okay? You're trying to get guys and girls to go to movies, teeny boppers, younger kids, even, you know what I'm saying? And you get your older people, so you invent your horror films. What do you need to put in a horror film? You need some scares, so the girl will hold on to the guy tighter. You need some eye candy for the guys.
Right.
You throw some girls in there, and you throw a giant monster in there for the guys and the kids and some of the ladies.
Right.
It's a win-win situation. Doesn't make it any more chauvinistic. You do what you need to do to get people in the seats, man. Right. That's what if you're going to show, I like boobs too. I'm sorry. I can't say
most guys do. Come on. And most women know it and use it. You know, it's like, it's fine. And I'm fine with it. It's
like monsters.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. So, monsters with boobs even are good. I
just don't want them in my closet or nothing. Yeah, so, but Timo, I will say, all in all, I'm glad I went and saw it because I couldn't get it off my mind. It's just one of those things. I have to see it because I can't, people talking about it. I need to make my decision, Yeah. Now, when I see it the second time, I might have a little bit more of a better opinion on it because when I see something, you know me, we've talked about this. The second time I see something, I see more things. I hear more things. I know more story. I'm not so taken over by the visuals. So we'll see. But it's okay. It's I'll put it up there. You're gonna hate me for this. I still like it better than part 3 because part 3 to me is not a Halloween movie. Is it a better movie? I don't know if it's a better movie. I like it better because it's got Michael Myers in it, and it's a decent Michael Myers movie. That's the only reason I like it better than part 3. It's not better than part 2 and nowhere near part 1. You know what I'm saying? But it's a decent, let's say this, Timo, from having our face shoved in shit with the Rob Zombie movies.
God.
And then in part 2, the Rob Zombie movie, having it smeared into the shit a little bit more.
Yeah.
This was the biggest breath of fresh air.
I have to admit, movie. I had to admit when I found out that Rob Zombie was nowhere near this movie, then at least I was going to be like, well, it might just suck. Not piss me off. Yeah. You know, I mean,
I don't know if it's going to piss you off, Timo. I don't know if you're going to love it.
Look,
I don't think you're going to hate it by any means, but it's as far as like the other Halloween films, it's a very good one. You know what I mean? It's way up there compared to the other ones. But
do they have that good? Do they have a good pace to it?
A little bit, for the most part.
I mean, pace is in like just this like tense kind of like they didn't go off the rails, because that's the one thing Halloween cannot withstand is the speed of films today. It doesn't work. I mean,
no, well, there was some stuff that was a little too much for me.
Yeah,
but that's me. Mm-hmm. That's me, and I might be, I'm a little squeamish in my old age, man. Mm-hmm. Coming from a guy who just cut his own head open for a wrestling show, I'm saying I'm squeamish.
Yeah.
So you take it for what it's worth. Mm-hmm. But there were parts that made me on edge, and a good way, not like I'm squeaming. No, it made me like, oh God, oh geez, And I like that. I was scared. I was spooked. Mm-hmm. I was scared, and that's what I want out of a Halloween or Michael Myers. I don't want just the whole, he's poor mom was a stripper and this. No, man, don't want that. I want there's a couple scenes that I was like, wow, that's pretty scary. Or you're like, no, don't do that, please, no, and. I was surprised and shocked by a couple things. I think it felt to me like, Timo, here's what I think. It felt to me like a Halloween, like part 4 with a little better story, better shot, better music.
A little bit more money thrown at it. A little bit more of a, a little less of a B, a little bit more of an A picture than part 4.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I expected in a way. I mean, it's kind of what I expected.
And I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Because I do like part 4. I really do. The only problem I have at part 4 is the mask is so bright white. I'm like, can someone take it out back and stomp it in the ground or rub some dirt on it? Just come on, man.
It's a little bit,
come on, man.
It's got some Peter Graves hair like follicles on it or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if the guy wore it from the beginning of the movie, it would have been a little bit dingy at the end, but it was just as bright at the end as it was at the beginning.
Right.
Come on, man. The guy just killed 12 people wearing that thing.
Well, it's funny because, I'm starting to see like rumblings of people finally like everyone talked about how great it was like in the first couple of days, which this happens every single time when these movies comes out. It's like, God, it's the greatest, like the Avengers movie. Like, it's the greatest thing ever. And then I see it, I'm like, what are you people smoking? Because I don't want any of it. Because I don't want to be that high where I think this is entertaining. Yeah. It's like, no, I'll stick with my shit. I don't want that stuff.
Yeah.
But I finally am seeing a couple people, like for instance, our buddy Mark Diamond from The Doors. I saw on Facebook, he put a post up and said it was awful. So he hated it. There was nothing to it that he liked it at all. And then I finally saw people on his post commenting, yeah, it's trash. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, no, we don't like it. And that's the first time I heard it. But it's like, if no one says it, no one wants to be the one. It's like mob mentality that goes on now that even in a movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's trash by any means, by no means. I myself, the ending took a lot away from it for me, but I knew it. I know what was coming, and it's not because I'm smart or anything smarter than your average bear.
It's happened before, sort of.
I've watched enough of these movies, and exactly, you know.
Yeah,
and
I think I mean, without seeing it either, I have my suspicions as well, and I think I know what you're going with it. But I am going to see it. They could have
taken a 5-second clip, Tim. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, but a 5-second clip at the end. That would have salvaged the whole thing for me. Not salvaged the whole thing, but would have made it. I'm okay. But Timo, we've watched enough horror films. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming. You never know. They leave it wide open.
I'll have to when it comes. It'll come out soon. I'll see it. Yeah. I'll see it pretty soon. I'm not really looking forward to seeing it. So that might be a good thing.
I wasn't either.
That might be a good thing for it, though. I think he might have went with low expectations.
I did. Yeah. Real low. And especially for the ending. And I don't want to keep harping on the ending, but I did. That was one of the reasons I didn't want to go. Because I knew what was going to happen.
Right.
But I just like the fact that they took the time and the care and the effort to put into Michael Myers this time and into the look and some of the sound, and there's some stuff in there I thought was brilliant, man. I mean, because some of the stuff's getting old, and the same stuff over and over. And they did a couple things in here that were fresh to me.
Right.
So it's not something I'm going to watch every Halloween. Right. That's for sure.
I'm still reeling from Shape of Water. The reaction that the public and the people that we know and respect that had to that film was so positive. Won an Oscar, for God's sake. And I watched it like, God, this is just bland. It's just kind of what you expect. When I saw that movie, I realized I'm like, and I thought I was sitting down to watch something that was going to bring cinema back. That's what I really thought. I was like, man, this thing has to be awesome, you know? And and even people were warning me, it's not a horror film. I'm okay with that. I don't know. Look, I'm going to go into the Halloween movie with such low expectations. I already hate it. I mean, it's already hate it. So it's going to have to raise,
I thought about
raise it up. It's going to have to raise me up, you know, I mean, basically to see it. Because I'm just tired of feeling like, you know what it feels like? It feels like the world today has become kids who never grew up with their toys still. And they got their little, and if you look around online, there's more adults buying toys than kids. Yeah. Have you noticed this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm one of them.
Kids don't buy toys. It's adults buy, and the adults buy toys for kids, thank God, because kids will play with them once they get them. But they want video games and phones and stuff. They want like things they can press on their screen. They don't want an object to play with. You know, they want a game. Right. That's about it. You know, so, you know, when I see, it's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of, like, I had my Halloween doll and my Jamie Lee Curtis doll. And this is what I did in my bedroom when I was a kid. So now I'm going to make this into a multi-million-dollar feature. That's exactly what everything feels like to me. The superhero movies, that's what it all feels like to me. I've got Thor here, and he's going to get beat the hell out of by this guy because I can do it because I'm tired of seeing Thor get punched once. Yeah. You know, I know it's odd, but does it make sense to you? I mean, it's like...
it makes tons of sense. Well, a lot of it too is because of the generation of people I've grown up with. Yeah, it's like imagination. People still have pretty good imaginations, but it's the applying of this stuff. And I'm waiting for, and that's why I really enjoyed some of them older movies we were watching, like the Giant Tarantula movies or whatever, like those, because people are doing something a little bit different. I mean, they're independent films, but even some of these other independents that we've watched, now they are doing a little something different, but I don't know.
It's pretentious to me. Some of this stuff it's pretentious, and it makes things like, for instance, when we were watching, and you watched it too, the Eli Roth thing. Angie and I were that show. We were watching this like, this has nothing. We're talking about Friday the 13th and connecting it to politics.
Oh
like,
God,
this had nothing to do with any of this. Nothing. No. And these directors are just as bad because then they feel like, oh, now I can make my shitty B movie that had a cult following. Now I can make it important just by using a few trigger words. That's going to get people, oh, yes, this has to be a wonderful movie because it is about X whatever political comment. It's like these movies were popcorn movies. They were they were just movies like people go get scared or entertained or laugh and have fun with.
No, Timo. That whole social commentary on those, just I had to tune that off. I tried to watch like two episodes, and then I was trying to get to the one where it was like about giant monsters, but I'm like, oh my God, if they politicize Jaws, I'm done, man. I just can't. You know what I mean? So,
you know, but look here. The thing is this stuff has gotten out of hand. Yeah, it's just out of hand. It's like, look, they're just movies. They're escapism.
Yep.
I'm not saying things don't happen, but we are hysterical about everything right now, awful. And it's like, calm down. And the one side thinks the other side is the only hysterical one. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. The media has everybody in fucking tangles today, and it's entering our movies. It's entering our horror films. It's entering our superhero movies. It's entering everything. And it's like it makes you hypersensitive to things because you're tired of it. You're either hypersensitive or you're tired of it. If you're tired of it, then you're evil. It's like, no, I'm not a hateful person. Yeah. So I don't know what to do with all this lecturing. You see what I'm saying? I don't have this. You're lecturing me for what? For what? And the movies are lecturing me. For what? And it's
you human.
It's gotten to the point where I watch a movie like Shape of Water and you find the shit in there. You find it in there. And if you don't think it's there, watch the Eli Roth documentary because they're telling you that if it wasn't there in the beginning, they're making up shit saying it was there, and then they're going. I mean,
and my thing is, I just wanted to see the history of some horror. I didn't want to hear about all these things, man. It was starting. I couldn't. I kind of wanted to talk to you about it, but I was like, I
mean, we have friends in these movies, and unfortunately, I think some of these friends in these movies today would agree. Yes, this was all about that. Really? How often did you talk about the fucking Vietnam War while you were there?
Yeah.
And if you did it have anything to do with what you were doing, or did you just make a movie about a bunch of cannibals killing dumb kids that went in the wrong spot? I mean, that's what you did, and that's what it was, and that's all there needed to be.
Yeah. I feel you.
Speaking of those, we're getting long. Let's get to our official films. Let's get to our official films. That was it for me. Okay, well that's good. So let's start. Let's start chronologically from 1957, which you can pretty much throw the political subtext out the window when you have a 1957 Roger Corman film titled "Attack of the Crab Monsters." Reeling it back in, all back home now. We're all good. Thank you. Yes. So. Let me get out Movie Guy and give you a real short storyline synopsis here for Attack of the Crab Monsters, although I think the title pretty much is a storyline synopsis.
Pretty much,
it's almost longer than the storyline synopsis. So let me get you, let me get out the Movie Guy here and let me go through this here. Here we go. Scientists become trapped on a shrinking island with intelligent, murderous giant crabs. That's it.
They are smart.
Now something real quick. This was written by Charles B. Griffith, who wrote Little Shop of Horrors.
Wow,
which I just watched. Me and Angio just watched it. That's long ago. I think we might have watched the riff track, so I can't remember. Yes. So basically, people get shipwrecked on an island, or they go out to an island. I can't even remember if they're shipwrecked or not because it doesn't really matter.
Well, they get out there, and then the plane that was took them there blows up.
That's right. Yeah, Ed Nelson. Ed Nelson, believe it or not, from the movie The Boneyard.
Oh, yeah.
The pilot, the captain pilot, the pilot guy. That was Ed Nelson, who was the star of The Boneyard. He was the grizzled detective that was trying to help out Phyllis Diller in that flick. That was him.
Yeah.
So Ed Nelson, yes, is a pilot. And then as his plane is flying, he drops off people, I don't know, to figure out what the fuck's going on this island. And as he's flying away, it just blows up.
Just blows up.
Out
of nowhere.
Yeah, I never really. I guess maybe.
I didn't know if a crab attacked it or something.
I'm not sure I ever got a clear explanation on that, but it certainly served the story well because they were trapped then. So they're on this island, and the professor, Mr. Russell Johnson, is.
You don't want to be stuck on an island with him.
No, especially. So I was actually kind of bummed out because right in the middle of it, he goes, "I'm not a scientist. I'm just here to." I was like, "Yeah, you are. You're the professor.
You're the professor, man.
Russell." Yeah. So, but I think
he looked good. He is looking handsome.
He was looking handsome. I think he had plastic surgery done at one point. Because he looks a little different than he did on Gilligan's Island. Yeah. And there's other movies he's in where I've noticed this, but I digress. Who knows?
He was too handsome. He had to, he was too handsome for pictures.
Yeah. So they're on this island and they're being attacked by these giant eyeballed crabs. Yeah. And the crabs victims.
Ventriloquists.
Yes, the crabs victims telepathically bully the cast, basically. Using metal objects as their specter speakers.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way. So they get attacked by crabs and the crabs taunt them through metal objects for the rest of the movie where they can't afford to get the crab on screen to do anything.
Oh my God.
Basically. Am I going wrong with this? This is pretty much it, right?
You are right on target.
Okay. What you think better? I've seen this a few times. I really have.
Is this a mystery science? Is this a mystery science?
I think it might have been. It might have.
Because I think that's where I've seen it. But yeah, oh my God, Tim. Well, this is one for the ages for sure. Yeah. So, starring one Chesty McChesterton. She's in there. See?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Pamela Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny. She's coming into a room because
I can see her coming around a corner.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But so they go out to this island or whatever. And there's a whole bunch of scientists, and it's funny because they don't really like each other either. No. They don't really seem to get along too well.
They're like the original Four Horsemen of the Bigfoot community.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And then there's like a couple Navy guys, right? I think they're on the island with them too. And it's not a real big island.
No.
And what's funny is the island, is crumbling all around. Like, well, we were just here 5 minutes ago. This wasn't here. And it's like a giant crevasse. Like,
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, they they do come across some giant crabs with garbage bag like eyes. And open up.
Well, there's a bunch of normal sized crabs too. There's crabs everywhere. It's a crabby island. Very crabby island. Yeah, so it's crabs everywhere. And then I guess there's a giant crabs that are like overlords over the other crabs. They're like the little crabs, right? I guess.
Of course. Yes. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they're bullies. They are bullies.
Yeah. So I don't know, Tim. I know one scientist ends up getting trapped down in one of the crevasses, and then pretty much the rest of the movie they're down there trying to find him, and they keep hearing the voices of the previous victims of the crabs, which threw me first. I'm like, wait a second. I was thinking at first, I'm like, wait, so that one guy must have brought him here, and this is like he's trying to talk to them like this is a fun house, and he's got giant crabs that he's keeping below. No, I was way off.
We don't want giant crabs we keep below. No, we don't want that.
No. Not that either.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how to set this one up as very well. I just it's
really it. I mean, these people are on an island. They are stuck on an island.
Yeah,
there's crabs afoot, and they're bullying them, and they want to take over the island. I guess I'm not sure they're equipped to take over the world necessarily, but they at least want to take over the island or the whatever. It's funny. This is actually directed by Roger Corman. So this is a 1957 Roger Corman, cheapie that he did. But here's the thing. And I'm just to be honest, it really does work better than it should.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
a little bit,
because Corman knew how to have silly movies, like silly B movies, played straight.
Yeah.
And that makes them funny and effective at the same time. Because I mean, there's some of the crab knocks pieces of buildings down. At least there's people in the building where they're getting it's getting all crabbed up on and stuff. And the crabs they'd just be a lot better if they didn't talk, I guess, because the final leader guy crab has a Plan 9 from outer space voice performance. It's just terrible. Just terrible.
Awful. Yeah.
You almost wonder if that was added or needed or anything else. And the eyes ruin the crabs because the crabs aren't that bad.
No, they're big too. Big.
Yeah, they're big and they're not it's not forced perspective or anything. They're actually really big rubber crabs or something that are that they're bouncing into people and stuff. They do find there's a weird subplot. There's a lot of weird little they find oil in the island, which I guess is another reason for them to get on each other's nerves, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things getting thrown against the wall in this movie.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's only an hour long.
Right.
So you can sit there and watch all this stuff get thrown against the wall and you can laugh at it and be entertained by it. I mean,
sure.
It's almost like it's worse than it should be in some ways.
Yeah.
They could have avoided some of the bad stuff easy, like the talking shit and everything. I don't mind the victims disembodied voices going, help me. That's
okay. They were kind of the crabs were using them to lure them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can take that. Yeah.
Right. So but I mean,
was off-putting at first. It really was.
I tell you though, I do remember the first time I saw this, I was like, this is better than I thought it was going to be.
I was like, are there crab ghosts? I didn't know what was going on.
Right. It almost feels like a movie that's actually pretty decent, but they just work their asses off to make it horrible. It really does feel that way because you're like, this isn't not a bad setting, not a bad cast.
No. There's been way worse made that are more memorable than this one.
The crabs are really big and threatening, but they got the goofy eyes and they are talking like this. It's like, what? Is this a giant crab or are you at a horse race and this is the announcer? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I don't know what to do with it though. That's the thing. Yeah. It's like it's a fun, silly be driving matinee type movie, and I don't hate it, and it's not good.
No,
this is something about it is like, well, it ain't horrible. You know, and people are looking over like, you hated Shape of Water and you're telling me Attack of the Crab Monsters is horrible? My answer is yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. You know, so I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to give a mild grape ape up for the fun and frivolity factor.
Okay.
You can't watch this without cracking a smile.
Oh, no.
You can't. And that's a good thing to me. And I think we need more of that today. You know, so it's like,
we really do.
I think it's a fun little movie. It's really silly. It's like way better than it should be, but then it's way dumber than it should be too. Cause it's almost like, I'm telling you, it does. It feels like a movie that, hey, that's not too bad. We better fuck this up good. I don't want people to criticize it for trying to be good. And they just kind of like poop all over it, you know? But I actually enjoyed it. And that hour length is so forgiving. Just about everything.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It's hard for me to get on Russell Johnson too hard too. You know, that poor guy. He was just biding his time till he was a professor. And I actually found it really funny that he said, "I'm not a scientist." I'm not a scientist. I'd love to sample that or something. That's
funny.
That's great. But very mild up, grape ape up. It's a crap movie.
Yeah,
but it's silly.
It's a crabby movie.
It is a crabby. I'm a crabby guy, so maybe it's solidarity. How about that?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to give it a kind of a mild grape ape up too, I guess. And it is fun. It's fun. Yeah. Like I said, I laughed at it and quite enjoyed it. So,
and that's what you got to do with it. You know, I would prefer to watch it with the riff tracks from Mystery Science Theater. I admit that. You don't need it because it's fun enough. But I think it would really, and I think you're right. I think I have seen this on that as well.
I think so. Yeah, but I had fun. I had fun watching. I love these old ones. I do
too. I do too. Yeah, they're so innocent. So like, just have fun. Just strap in. Have fun. Hang on to your teeth. Yep. We're going for a ride.
I didn't feel bad for the crab monsters, and I don't care if there was any atomic fallout. I didn't feel bad for him. Look, he got big. And I was just thinking, man, it's going to take a lot of butter to cook them bugs. That's all I thought.
I felt bad for the sand because it looked real nice and undisturbed before they started running around on it. And that was about it. About all I felt bad for. So let's move on, Mr. Ben Harley. Here's one that we've been talking about a little bit with our good friend, Mr. Mark Diamond from The Doors. Yes. We are all Bigfoot fans and Sasquatch fans. So from this year, from 2018, we have the movie Big Legend.
That's like the future for us.
I know, absolutely. Let's see here. Let me get out Movie Guy and give you a another one-sentence short storyline synopsis. Here we go. An ex-soldier ventures into the Pacific Northwest to uncover the truth behind his fiance's disappearance.
Oh,
yes. So that is
fiance.
Now, Mr. Ben Harley, to the audience, Mr. Ben Harley watched this before I did.
Yes.
I happened to get this and sent it to everyone, and everyone watched it before me and thanked me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're welcome, but I have no idea if it's any good or not because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
But you texted me, and I knew right away exactly what you meant when I sat down to watch this movie because you said, I'm just going to paraphrase for you here, not to give a spoiler to what you think about it, but you said,
sure,
not too bad. Could have cut some of it out. Could have tightened it up. Tighten that up a little bit.
But you know me, Tim.
Well, now let me tell you, as we were sitting down and watching this, the opening of the film, the first 15 minutes is a guy and his fiance flirting and getting along really well out in the forest.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
All right. Well, I agree with that. But still, it's really very innocuous. Nothing really going on. That's way too long.
Yeah.
And I knew immediately. I was like, And I looked over at Angie. I was like, this could all be edited out. Trust me. Mm-hmm. I go, you can edit this entire thing out. Trust me on this one.
Yeah.
And I was right, by the way. But, and so are you, by the way. But, so what happens is they spend way too much time setting up the characters, making you feel good about them. And then they hear something.
Yes.
And then the guy goes to investigate and the woman gets drug away. She's gone.
Yeah, because he proposes to her.
He does.
Out in the woods. And I don't think she really wants to be out there type thing. Mm-hmm. So that's also kind of a setup for future for him, why he.
Right. So basically the guy's fiance.
The whole tent.
Right.
Not her.
Right.
The whole tent. Yeah. Gets drug away with her in it. Sorry.
Right. So he gets put in a mental institution because he can't handle what happened. Now, we are in 2018. No, he would be in jail for murder.
Yeah, oh yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Because he never would have been able to disprove that.
No,
him not. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
You're
it's
right.
like there's that was a stretch, but okay, fine. Yeah. We're in Hollywood. I'm just bitching about everything, and we're in Hollywood land, and I'm bitching about that. So that's fine.
Just go with it, right?
So, guy's fiance is kidnapped basically by a Sasquatch. Okay.
Yeah.
And he needs to get back there and find out what happens. His mother is played by Adrienne Barbeau. Yes. And she's the one that instigates him to go out to the woods to go find out what happened, because nobody believes him. But of course nobody believes what happened. So that's what he does. So he goes out in the woods and starts rooting around, and he's being followed. Mr. Benner. You want to pick that up there?
Yeah, Timo. Basically, and he's an ex-military, right?
Yeah, he's
Ranger.
Yeah, he's something.
Ranger,
Yep.
So, once he goes out there and he goes by himself, he does kind of feel like he's being followed. He comes across the guy.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
That was when I was waving my American flag when they come out with the guy who's the poacher with the big American flag out. It's being like, I'm Don King. Here we go.
I'm Don. Yeah.
USA. Don King. Yes, sir.
Living in America.
Election day. Flag waving. There we go. All right. Go ahead.
Coast to coast. So, this guy comes out. I can't remember his name. He was upset me.
Well, they called each other Chief.
Yeah, he kept calling him Chief, and I didn't like that after a while. That was a little too many Chiefs for me. But that was I did like the scene. Now, like, the movie, all right, it is low budget, but it looks okay. Yeah, it's shot all right. Mm-hmm. But the acting sometimes is good, sometimes is not really good. Mm-hmm. But I was trying to forgive that. But I did happen to like this scene when he does come across the flag waving fella. If you want to wave your flag, there. And it's kind of a tense scene because that guy's out there and he is a poacher and does admit to it, because he's like, wait a second, the main guy's like, it's not hunting season. This guy's like, well, he admits to it. And the guy's, he's not like a big burly guy, so you're not like, wouldn't be really scared of him, but still though, he's a little off at first,
He's one of those survivalist type guys that's out in the woods by himself.
With his American flag. With his flag.
And he's a bit of a stereotype. Let's put it that way. I mean, I think actually both the guys are kind of a little bit of a stereotype. But that's fine. So most of us are stereotypes. A little edgy. Mm-hmm. But
you're a little edgy because then all of a sudden he's like, well, then why are you out here? Then he starts to think, maybe did this guy have something to do with the disappearance? Which then you start thinking that maybe too. Well, hey, and then that kind of bummed me out. I'm like, no, it better be a Bigfoot. Then. It better be a Bigfoot.
Right.
So I like that stuff. And those guys, it's like, you really don't know. I fell for it a little bit. I'm like, is this guy going to be is he going to go Ned Spedler on?
I was thinking that too. He had a Ned Spedler thing going on.
Yeah. And I thought maybe, but they do pal around for a while and they're looking for the Bigfoot. They both kind of believe in it too, which is also kind of cool. Well, they're chasing down something, right, Timo? And he falls, our beloved main character falls into like a nasty, like gooey
body pit
pile.
Pit.
Yeah.
Body parts.
And so at that point, too, I'm getting a little bit more nervous, Tim. I'm thinking, oh boy, here it is. And the Ned Spedler part's coming. He led them to the spot where this is all going to end, But to my surprise and my a giant rock comes flying out of nowhere and hits the other guy in the leg.
Yeah, right on the side of the knee, man. That's a football injury if I've ever seen one. Yeah.
Oh man, painful. Yeah. And it's like, at that point, I know he's not in on it.
Exactly. Not anymore.
No, So it turned a little for me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So the edge of the other thing was alleviated, I guess, of me being edgy about him. But I guess the rest of the movie, Timo, is basically them two trying to survive and stuff like that. I don't know, Tim. I don't want to give away too much. There's not really a lot to give away in this movie. It's basically you're out in the woods trying to survive against something.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing that I kind of enjoyed, because there's a little thing that they keep like kind of popping up every now and then. The area that they're in. First of all, they're in Washington near Mount St. Helens.
I forgot to mention. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
and that was a big deal with when that. I remember even as a kid when Mount St. Helens erupted, the talk of the Bigfoots or Sasquatch being displaced.
Right. Yeah. So we are around there, and so they do.
I was only 10.
Well, and they do mention that the guy, the old poacher guy, he does say, well, when the mountain blew, I think it released this or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's owned by some kind of corporation.
Yeah.
It's owned by some kind of, and it's a nefarious corporation. Just, I don't know what his name was, like, biotech engineering or something, it's something clearly that's up to no good, probably making bigger tomatoes somewhere, but they're evil. They're evil.
They're all evil.
Yeah. So there's that going on. So there is a company, and they do say that we've never seen anyone from the company, here, but it's owned. And why is that? So there's a lot of intrigue that starts building as the movie goes, because it does start.
And wasn't there an area too, like that was the natives had put, or not, the Native Americans had put
like a perimeter thing with skulls and stuff. To keep out. Keep out or keep in, one of the two. But so there's clearly an area to stay out of. And I started finding that a little intriguing. The reason is because I started finding this to be, albeit super simple, and I did find there to be a story starting to emerge here, as opposed to simply relying on tree knocks and flying rocks.
Sure.
Admittedly, it was a little bit of a takeoff of the Bigfoot movie with John Carradine in it, where the women were getting taken, and so that's how it kind of started. But there was a story kind of going on, and there was a couple things I thought were nice touches. I thought the music had a bit of an orchestral kind of score to it, with a little bit of new, even if it was just a guy sitting around on his iMac, with the synthesizer. It had an orchestra feel to it. But the editing and cinematography are not horrible, but they're uneven. There's a couple moments where what? Like the moment where he looks down. What's he looking at?
Yeah.
Show a footprint or something. Show something. And then I know they do it a minute later, but he does it a couple times. Like when he's down the river, like filling up his canteen of water, and the Sasquatch steals his backpack.
Yeah.
But they just show him walk up, and they never show him. They show him look down and go, but they don't show the rock. Like there's no insert of it being gone. So I think there's a couple of impatient mistakes by the filmmakers. A little bit, like they didn't have the patience to sit down there and set that shot up to show that the backpack. Because if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't know what he was looking at. You would if you weren't paying attention, he wasn't wearing his backpack anymore. You wouldn't know. So anyway, but those are like little detail-y things that are kind of a little uneven, very forgivable, because this is a very low budget film, but very very forgivable just because of that. The one thing is, once the guy's leg gets cranked.
He should have been done. He wouldn't have been moving.
where the hell do they think they were heading?
I don't know.
They basically got themselves into nowhere. Like they basically got themselves lost. Like go back the other way. Like you guys know where you're at. I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't like they were babes in the woods. So I mean, it was sort of like just to serve the horror film for them to get further into the woods a bit. Then when they got to a certain point, then the guy with the broken leg finally says, we're going to have to go back. Well,
wait, what?
Why do you just go back in the first place? Just do a big loop-de-loop and go back the other way. To the, I don't know. To me, it was a little, that was a little thing. It's funny too, because I agree with Mark Diamond on this, because he's I don't know if he messaged you too, but he messaged me and said that it's not great, but it's interesting and it's kind of fun, and it's good for a Bigfoot movie. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, all this, but it's good, and I totally agree with that. The casting was interesting. You did have Adrienne Barbeau for a minute in there. Amanda Weiss or whatever her name is. She's in the beginning as a psychiatrist. She's from Nightmare on Elm Street. She's been at a lot of conventions. Then at the end, you get the big grand Lance Henriksen coming in, and there's a big, I don't want to call it twist. Setup. Yeah, I don't want to call it a twist, but you're right. The movie is a setup to something else, and it's clearly going to be a series of films with this guy and somehow Lance Henriksen pulling the strings going to battle a Sasquatch of some sort. That's
or mythical creatures or something.
Something. I'm not real sure, but it looks like this is the beginning. Now,
they're the new Monster Squad, Timo.
Well, it looks like the beginning of something really fun or really horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be any in between. I can guarantee it. Now, this movie on its own, though, I'm going to give it great Bape up too. I think it's a decent Bigfoot movie. I mean, it's not the best thing I've ever seen. I like the poacher character guy.
Yeah.
The main guy is okay. Gets a little too beefed up, heroic at a couple moments. Little too cheesy. But it's again a low budget movie, very forgivable.
Yeah.
The end is not the most satisfying thing in the world, but at least you know what it feels like. I actually fast forwarded it to the very end to make sure this wasn't another Avengers type movie where they're going to have a fake ending at the end. I looked for it. There's not one there. Trust me.
Good. Okay.
But it did feel sort of like the beginning of, oh God, like almost like,
Nick Fury.
Yeah. Nick Fury. So there was a Nick Fury moment there at the end.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and it just ends.
Totally.
It just ends. But I'm gonna give it a great Bape up. The guy who directed is named Justin Lee. I don't know anything about him. But this is a serviceable Bigfoot movie in this day and age. I thought it was fairly good,
I think so too, Tim. I mean, I enjoyed it. I watched it here the other day, and a couple people that came in were like actually interested in it. You know? And I have one girl that came in. She's a girl I went to college with. And she was all into the whole thing right off the bat, but that was the whole proposal and then her getting dragged away.
The drama part in the beginning. Yeah.
But I almost had to bust her up, though, because she was trying to mess with my letterbox thing going on.
What?
Oh, yeah. She's like, you don't. I was like, don't touch it. And she's like, no. See, I was like, no, don't touch it. And she's like, but I said, no.
You don't have to see the whole picture. You can cut the picture apart. I was trying
to, and I went to art school with her, and I was still trying to explain to her. I was like, I had my hands up, man, like Kung Fu style. And I said, back up. I said, because I don't like full frame.
Right.
I don't. Because I like, I want the letterbox, and I can deal with the two little, and it wasn't much at the top and bottom.
But it's just shot in that perspective.
That's right.
That's all there is to it. I mean, you want to see all that. I don't know.
Back up.
I haven't heard somebody doing that in a long time. And that's an art student? Wow.
Yeah, I said, back up, woman.
She's failing your teachers, Ben Harley. She's failing all of your professors.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're probably doing the same stupid thing, too, at home with their letterboxing, too. The idiots. I'm like I said, I mean, I think it's a great Bape up. I think it's...
Me too.
I think
it's a good movie.
It's
Bigfoot. I mean, it's a good Bigfoot movie, because there hasn't been many.
Wrong. No, I know. Yeah.
But it's fun. I enjoy it, and it's one that I'm going to watch again and recommend to people.
Yeah. Now let's see if there's a sequel too, because I'm curious to see. It's a teeter movie. It's teetering on is it decent or not decent, and I'm pretty sure. And because it's a Bigfoot movie, I'll always teeter that over to decent. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to find them. So. And it's not bad. It's not terrible.
We didn't mention this, Timo. The Bigfoot's okay. They don't show it a whole heck of a lot.
No, they don't.
And when they do, it's not. I mean, there's a little bit of Steve Austin, $6 Million Man Bigfoot fights. There's a couple of those. Yeah. There's no but there's a couple rats. Yeah, exactly. But I'll forgive that. But I thought the Bigfoot did not bother me at all, and that's what I was worried about.
It had long hair, so it's kind of obscuring it. You hear that sometimes when people see something, they see something like this. So this is the long hair, more of a gray hair, I guess, grayer, longer gray hair, like kind of version of the Bigfoot. But you're right, it's not that bad. It's a pretty decent, and they do shoot it fairly well, like you said. So where it's obscured a little bit. You're not, if there's a zipper, they make sure you can't find it, it's tough. Yeah. And, but no, it's not too bad. And that's a bonus as well. And so the teetering thing though, and I guess if we're both going to give this just a regular great Bape up, the teetering is where does it go now? And it's either going to teeter in one direction or the other. So I am interested to see, where it teeters forth to.
As long as it doesn't peter when it teeters.
Yeah. So, I hope if it doesn't resonate on the Peter meter, then you're okay. You're fine. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, so I guess we're both going to grape ape up Big Legend. Not an intensely awesome movie, but for a Bigfoot movie, we're starting to head in the right direction.
Yeah.
This year, that makes 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yep. That's not bad at all. That's a win.
No, that's 2 more than we had, in the previous 50 years, almost. Right.
So that's a win. So Big Legend, Grape Apes up. Attack of the Crab Monsters. We got the mild Grape Ape. Oh, you just gotta check this nonsense out. Yeah. It's silly as hell. Don't beat yourself over the head with a mallet a couple times and then watch it, which is basically what you did. I just wouldn't suggest pile driving because that might hurt your neck as well. Yeah, just beat yourself over the brain area and then watch Attack of the Crab Monsters. It is on Amazon Prime. It's a fun, silly little movie. And it's not hard. Yeah. It's not easy to come by that movie, by the way.
No.
Attack of the Crab Monsters. It's not readily available at all times like some films are. So,
I wonder why.
I almost bought it because I didn't have it. I was all bothered by it. I was all bothered by it, and then it came on Prime. That's why we reviewed it. I'm like, finally, because it just bothered me I didn't have it. And then I started watching it. And I'm like, I just watched this this year sometime. I did. And I don't recall what I did. I don't recall what I did. So maybe that's what it was under my skin bothered me, I guess. But
I bet.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But Harley, that's it. We got to get the hell out of here. Let's see. I do know what we're doing next week, but I'm not telling anybody. I ain't telling anybody. I might tell you just so the show goes well. But
let me know.
I don't know. I keep telling you what we're supposed to do, and these shows are getting longer and longer. So maybe I'm just going to keep you out of it and just let you listen.
Yeah. Right. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, right. So.
For the listeners, even.
Right. All right. Well, till next week, folks, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.